Gunned down in a pharmacy. The search for a brazen gunman in the Bronx.
It's a big weekend of events across the tri-state and rain's in the forecast. We'll time it out for you.
More is more. It's called Clutter Core, the movement that has people filling their homes with stuff because they say it sparks joy.
This is News 4 Now for June 10th. I'm Kay Ingram. Now first up, it is another shocking case of gun violence right here in New York City. Police are looking for several suspects in connection with a deadly shooting at a pharmacy in the Bronx.
An employee says the 27-year-old victim was inside Amazing Pharmacy on East Tremont Avenue, flashing a stack of cash. We're told he left after buying eye drops, but came back about 20 minutes later with 4 other men.
He said, please, we can talk. I went back there to the pharmacy screaming, please be careful. We have to move, because he had the gun. I don't know if I feel to go back to my job.
Yeah, it's really a disgrace. You know, it's really shameful what's going on in our community nowadays. The gun violence has gotten really out of control.
We're told he left after buying eye drops, but came back about 20 minutes later with 4 other men. There was some sort of altercation, and one of the men pulled out a gun and opened fire. Investigators say the suspects may have been trying to steal the man's money. His name has not yet been released. And we're now hearing from the mother of a 12-year-old girl who was badly injured during a hit and run in the Bronx. She shared these photos of her daughter, Nevaeh, saying the young girl is suffering with tremendous pain. Nevaeh has cuts and scrapes to her hands and a deep gash on her face. A plastic surgeon performed surgery and she's expected to recover. Video shows the girl tumbling through the air after getting hit while trying to cross Boone Avenue. The driver of a dark BMW paused for a second after the impact before flooring it. A Good Samaritan immediately called 911.
Immediately, I jumped off my bike, ran to her rescue, told her to stay down.
I can't believe, someone would do something like that, especially that it's a kid or anyone, period, but just as well as that she's a, young adult. Then why wouldn't they want to come out and stay on the scene?
Now, so far, no arrests to report there either. Police are hoping that someone will see this video and recognize the car. Oof, embrace yourselves because rents in the city are hitting new highs. For the first time ever, the median cost of a rental apartment in Manhattan is now a whopping $4,000. That's according to Douglas Elliman Real Estate Company and other boroughs, y'all. They're also going up. In Brooklyn, rents are up to more than $3,200. And in Northwest Queens, the median rent is close to $3,000.
Hey, I'm meteorologist Matt Brickman. We've had a couple of nice days to finish out the week, but that good luck does not look like it's going to stick around into the weekend. There's 2 low pressure systems that we're watching. This first one, frankly, I don't think is a big deal. This should slide to the south of us on Saturday, and apart from a couple of sprinkles inland, I don't think we see much. Sunday, a different deal. We're kind of in between storms here, but you've got all this moisture coming out ahead of it, and then watch this line drop in Sunday night into early on Monday. That could trigger some strong, maybe even some severe thunderstorms Sunday into Monday. And it's a big weekend of events as well. We've got the Belmont Stakes on Saturday. I think that's looking pretty dry. It'll be cloudy and cooler. We're not going to be in the 80s this weekend, but I think the track for the most part should be dry, dirt, not mud. Sunday, different deal with the Puerto Rican Day Parade. This one's looking pretty soggy. It starts at 11. I would expect that we've got showers then and then continuing into the afternoon. Those stronger thunderstorms, though, holding off until after the parade. So likely just some light, if not steady rain during the duration of the parade. Hopefully better weather and drier days as we look ahead towards next weekend for Father's Day.
And finally, you know the saying that less is more? Well, there's this new design trend that's proving that's just not true. Basically, folks are filling their homes up with knickknacks and collectibles. And NBCLX is here to show us about this maximalist trend and what you need to know.
When did you first hear the phrase Clutter Core or realize oh, this might be something that I'm doing?
Oh, no, I know exactly when. A friend of mine texted me and was like, hey, have you checked out hashtag Clutter Core? And I was like, no. And she's like, you need to do this. You are Clutter Core. And like, you know, she's like, go check it out. And I checked it out. I was like, oh my God, this is me.
You can just fit things as you go. And if it doesn't work, take it down and try something else.
Clutter Core really is just a modern repackaging of the idea of maximalism. So what that looks like for me is less stuff doesn't always bring me joy. Sometimes more is more.
If you have like little figurines.
I love things from the Victorian era all the way up to like super kitschy cat figurines. I love mid-century glass, and I am obsessed with art. Every single wall has art on it. I don't have enough space for all the art I wish I owned. Just because I have this shelf of cluttered things behind me, it doesn't mean there's stuff all over the floor.
The dining room shelf is up.
And everything does have its place, even though there's a ton of things up there.
I think for a minimalist, like this probably does feel like hoarding, but I think the pandemic definitely impacted the way people collect and place stuff in their home.
As you can see, there's still more room on the top. I plan to make this whole wall like completely covered in stuff.
I actually used to think of myself as a minimalist. And the reason why was I was very much a Rolling Stone moving across the country many times. So I really didn't own that many things. And I think like so many people during the pandemic, you're stuck at home. The Joneses who you decorated for don't come over anymore anyways. And you're kind of looking around your space and you're just kind of realizing like when you're stuck in your space for that amount of time, it was about what does bring you joy. I've been waiting for these shelves and unpacking and needing these shelves.
So I think prior to the pandemic, there was a lot of conversation about Marie Kondo and decluttering, and we were spending predominantly a lot of time outside of our homes. And then there was a shift, and during the pandemic, you noticed like all of these Amazon and UPS drivers coming into neighborhoods. Whatever collections that people were having or whatever hobbies they took up, you know, I think that is the result of some of the clutter culture.
The way it's laid out now is even too cluttered for me, which is pretty funny.
I think some people find comfort when the space has more stuff in it, you know, that it feels like these spaces are like coming in and enclosing almost like a hug.
There's some fun knickknacks up here.
I do think generations previous that had just a lot of things, a lot of their items weren't very personal. A lot of their things were kind of like locked behind cabinets and you couldn't touch them. And growing up in a family that had a lot of like collectibles, my family had so much in storage that we never ever saw. They would open a box and be like, I forgot I owned that. You know, I don't forget I own these things because they're literally out on display.
It's just such a good way to make items pop.
I do think Clutter Core has taught me decorating with your instincts is okay, but nothing I own is so precious that somebody can't touch them.
But it all ties together.
I'm just not super worried about whether my home looks like a magazine or looks like the most current trendy items from a home goods store. I'm more hoping that my home feels kind of like a cabinet of curiosities.
All right, friends, well, that's all I've got for you for today. Thanks for watching this week. It is nice outside, so be sure to get out there, and we'll see you back here next week on News 4 Now. See ya!